3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
All right, welcome to Roots of Reality. My name is Ben Baumann, and today's topic is about the history of the search for extraterrestrial life. So for thousands of years, people have gazed at the stars and have wondered, are we alone in the universe? In fact, one of the first people to ever believe there were other worlds beyond our planet was the ancient Greek philosopher Democritus, who about 2,500 years ago believed that Earth wasn't the only planet in the universe. And later, around the late 600s, the Islamic scholar Muhammad al-Baqir became one of the first to argue for the existence of extraterrestrial life. From here, it would be almost 1,000 years before we could start to explore the idea of extraterrestrial life further, and a defining moment came in the 1600s with the invention of the telescope, which allowed for us to gaze at our universe much closer than ever before, resulting in many discoveries in our solar system. Then, a couple hundred years later, in the 1800s, another tool would come about that would play a major role in the future of the search for extraterrestrial life. And that was the creation of the radio, which allowed for the transmission and the reception of radio signals across far distances. Finally, by the 1960s, the search for extraterrestrial life started to really begin. And in 1960, an American project called Project Ozma was created to try and detect signals coming from nearby stars in our galaxy. Then in 1962, the Soviet Union sent a signal via Morse code towards the planet Venus in hopes of detecting life. So now people are not only trying to detect messages, they're sending messages into space. In that same year, 1962, the Soviet Union also put the first person in space, making it so our species was now capable of leaving our planet. Following up on that, in 1969, the United States put the first people on the moon, proving that not only could our species travel into outer space, but could also go to other celestial bodies in space, as well as return with soil samples, which they then would search for signs of life. And finally, in 1990, the United States would build the Hubble Space Telescope, which could search for planets outside our solar system and help us understand their composition. And after about 19 years, a new telescope would be built in 2009 by the United States called the Kepler Space Telescope, which would discover thousands of worlds beyond our solar system. Also in 2012, the United States would also put a Mars rover called Curiosity on Mars, making it the first time that the human species had been able to put objects on another planet. And from Curiosity, our species would learn that there could have been life on Mars in the past. And so from this brief history of our sort of search for extraterrestrial life and our just thinking about extraterrestrial life, we've really come a long way. Our technology has just continued to get better. For example, in 2018, the United States launched another space telescope called TESS, which has enabled us to search for even more planets beyond our solar system. The United States also put a new Mars rover called Perseverance on Mars and launched it in 2020, and it landed on Mars actually this year in 2021. And its job is to search for signs of ancient life. And from our research, when it comes to looking for planets beyond our solar system, our species has already detected as many as 300 million potentially habitable planets just within our galaxy, the Milky Way. And these 300 million potentially habitable planets could have the right planetary composition to support life when it comes to liquid water, the proper atmosphere, and energy sources. Also, they may have the right size, planetary age, orbit, tilt positioning, and distance from their star to allow for a habitable climate. So there are many complex factors at play for life to exist as we know it on Earth, but there are also many planets out there that could fulfill these requirements. In fact, even within our own solar system, there is a possibility for life, for microscopic organisms that could exist under the surface of Mars, or under the surface of the moon of Jupiter called Europa, or the moon of Saturn called Enceladus. So here we are then in a modern world, as a species that has existed for as much as 300,000 years, searching for life like us in a universe that we barely understand. But for all we know, we are not the only ones searching. Other life forms in the universe could be searching for us right now, for all that we know. Now, some say that our planet has already been visited by aliens via UFOs thousands of years ago, claiming things like aliens built structures like the pyramids, or in the modern world claiming that aliens have visited us numerous times, that the government is just hiding information about it. However, despite these claims obviously being intriguing and would certainly be fascinating if true, there is no scientific evidence to support aliens ever visiting our planet, nor historical evidence supporting them ever visiting our planet. So if aliens know about us, we certainly don't know about them. And for those who claim aliens have visited us and claim that there is proof, I don't think that these people who really do believe it, or if you really do believe it, I don't think that the belief is crazy or dumb, but rather it's just putting too much emphasis on what you want to be true versus what we actually have objective evidence for. And we see this all the time. There are plenty of beliefs out there. People will literally believe in anything if they want to. So no belief is really crazy at the end of the day because people historically have just believed about anything. But we have to remember that evidence matters, and objective evidence comes from, the consensus of people that dedicate their lives to studying something, not the latest blog post from someone who is so obsessed with trying to prove a particular idea that they'll say just about anything and cherry pick just about anything they want and call it evidence. When we let our desire for something to be true distract us from an evidence-based pursuit of truth, we're only hurting ourselves. Therefore, there is no evidence that aliens have ever visited Earth, but that doesn't mean it can't ever happen. Of course, it also doesn't mean that it never happened. It could have happened, I suppose, and we just don't know about it. But at the end of the day, based on what we actually know, as a species, we are ultimately just still trying to grasp the basic reality of our existence. We are just starting to try and venture beyond our isolated rock in space. And the chances are very high that the next time that you go outside at night and look up at the night sky and think about the billions of galaxies that exist in our universe, and the countless number of planets that could have life on them in each of those galaxies, then you can feel pretty confident saying to yourself that we are not alone. Just think about it right now. In some galaxy, on some planet far away, some intelligent alien life could be thinking to themselves right now, wondering if they are alone as well. We often get caught up in what's happening so much on our planet that we don't really think much about what's beyond our planet. But the reality is our planet is just like one small apartment in a gigantic building in a gigantic big city, and who knows when we might finally meet our neighbors in this galaxy we call home. So, as always, remember, billions of years led to you, so make the most of it.